Welcome to Single Tree Nation. I'm your man, Charlie Eblin, the host and owner of Single Tree Woodfire Barbecue. We are here to build community through undeniable hospitality, storytelling, and the perfect plate of barbecue. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Single Tree Nation. I'm your man, Charlie Eblin, and as always, we have our illustrious co-host, Mr. Derry Wells, with us today.
What is up, everybody?
It's going to be a good day.
It is going to be good. It's already been a good day. I had the day off work.
A little chilly, but that's all right. Look, we got a local legend in the house today. Mr. Jeff Murphy owns a wonderful...
May have heard of it.
Deli on the square of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, called Domenico's.
Is that how you say it? Domenico's. I was going to get you to pronounce it because I always I hear people say
it happens all the time.
Okay,
yeah.
So
I always think about it like it's a ribeye.
You want that extra there, don't you?
I'm like, that's not right. All right, and so I mess it up all the time. It's all right. Everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say it.
That's right.
So welcome, brother. Welcome.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm looking forward to it.
Of course. So we are going to go up, right, left, and backwards and all the things and talk about you, your business, how you got started, the whole kit and caboodle. But before we do that, why don't you give us your little elevator pitch and tell us what who you are, what you do, and all the fun things, and we'll dive into it from there.
Yeah, so my name is Jeff Murphy. I'm the owner of Domenico's Italian Deli in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Former Blue Raider football player. That's what brought me to Tennessee originally. And man, we've been on the square. We celebrated our 5th year on January the 28th. So we opened January of 2020, right before the world stopped. And God's got us through, and now we're rocking and rolling and hopefully moving on to bigger and better things.
Absolutely perfect timing, huh?
Yeah. I've always had great Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong, will go wrong.
This is true. This is true.
Where you said came to Tennessee from where?
Alameda, California.
Alameda, California.
Yep.
Alameda, California.
Give me a big city.
Oakland.
Okay.
San Francisco.
There you go.
I mean, it's in the East Bay. It's an island literally off of Oakland.
Okay.
So you got to go through Oakland to get there. So big Raiders, A's,
Guess
and Warriors
who's never
fan.
been west? Like that.
Pick me.
This guy.
Who's got 2 thumbs and never been west of
That's
Mississippi? Derry.
It happens. I touched into Texas once, but that was
about as far west as you can.
Yeah, I mean,
Does that mean like you touched down
I
an
don't
airplane?
know,
Or?
Layover and
the car
layover?
veered in, and whatever. So, I don't know.
You crossed
Yeah.
Texarkana right over the line.
Yeah, something like that.
Had to go to a convenience store.
That's right. Flirting on the border of Louisiana down there, like, hey, let's say we've been to Texas.
Why not?
Anyway, whatever. So, all right, now we've established my limited traveling. Anyway, so
That is outstanding. Oh, I did not know that. And the things you learn about your friends, it's great.
well,
Good job. That's
hey,
outstanding.
I try.
Yeah.
So
We're gonna. That's on my bucket list is to take Derry West.
I wouldn't know what to do. I just
You could do a whole series on it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just stand in awe of everything because you hear about how great things are out there. I mean, and you can name huge landmarks that are out there. And I'm like, yeah, I could show it to you on a map. That's all I can do.
So,
Maybe.
I heard a guy talk about this the other day, and this is way off course. We're seeing a squirrel right now. There's 63 national parks, I think. Is that right? 63 national parks in the country. And a guy said that he had been to 32 of them. That's pretty incredible.
That's, yeah.
Right? So I started thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know if I've been to one of them.
I know. I guarantee you've been to one.
Yeah, surely you've got to be.
You've been to the Smoky Mountains. And that's considered a national park. If you go to one of their stops and stuff, and I'm sure you've been down there, I assume you have. But it's hard to go through Gatlinburg without being in the national park.
Well,
officially,
yes.
You may not have gone to the visitor center, got a pamphlet, but but you
like he's been to Texas, you
right?
Same thing.
Drove through.
Yeah.
But if you take the
Threw
bypass,
a sandwich out to the blackberries.
Right. But if you took the bypass, you've been in the national park because that last part.
Okay, so I've been to one.
Yeah, so you at least got one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what other ones are like local to Tennessee to say.
I've been to one in California. We used to go camping in the El Dorado National Forest, but
okay,
past that, I don't know. Out here, maybe the same thing going to Gatlinburg, but
Right.
that's about it.
It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, to think about, there's 63 of them, and we've been to one.
That's incredible.
I want to hope
You
that
got
I've been to
32?
more than one.
Like, I'm gonna.
Hey, y'all want to hear the ones in Tennessee real quick?
Yes,
There's more than one in Tennessee?
Great Smoky Mountains National Park, Big South Fork National River and
Okay.
Recreation Area, Land Between the Lakes,
I've been there.
National Recreation Area. Those are
So there's 4,
That's 2. That's 3.
three technically.
3 technically.
Yeah, Natchez Trace is a state park.
I've been. All right, I'm racking up a list here.
I've been in Natchez.
Yeah, I've been.
That's a
definitely
fun
been in
spot to go
Natchez.
through.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I've been to some state parks. That's I can do those.
Good job.
Well,
We
you've
weren't
been to
talking
one.
about that. We were talking about national parks.
He said state parks.
Sorry, I'm gonna chime out. I'm checking out now. Just trying
Trent's
to
getting
help.
me in trouble over here.
Just trying to help.
I've been to a state park. Like,
In the state you live.
Yeah, in the state that I live. Yeah,
That's impressive.
yeah. And there's like 4 of them here in this county, isn't
somebody's over here talking about beer and trying to. I've had whiskey. Well, okay. Good for you.
there? Merry Christmas. Oh Lord. Okay, so California to Tennessee for football.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I went to junior college for 2 years while still working at the original location in my hometown. And then Coach Stock offered me a scholarship to come to Tennessee and loved Tennessee. Met my wife, who was formerly Scarlett Lanning, and decided to stay. And then worked for her dad for, probably 6 years, managing the barbecues. And 'cause obviously had the restaurant background with my grandparents, coming over from Italy, settled on the West Coast, opened the original location in Alameda. They retired. My parents took it over. So I'm one
The
of
original
5.
Domenico's.
That's still there to this day.
Okay.
My mom and brothers run that one. So we all grew up in it as kids, other than really one of my sisters didn't work there too much. I don't know how she got out of that, but we all, worked there.
She saw y'all's hours. She's like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so grew up in that, and then got a football scholarship, came to Tennessee, met my wife, and then worked for her family for a couple of years, and then wanted to do my own thing, and opened Domenico's in 2020.
Slinging some barbecues at Rick's, huh?
Yeah.
So did you work at the small one over by the VA, or did you work at Warrior Drive?
I worked at both.
Or both.
So before my father-in-law had his heart attack, that's why they had to sell the little one.
Yep. Yep.
I signed the lease in November on the square. He had and I was supposed to be like bridging, kind of stepping away,
Yep.
because I was managing both of them. And then he had his heart attack and was in the hospital for several months. And then, so it was like, signed the lease, was doing the build out. We found out Scarlett was pregnant with her third son, like all within like 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh man.
And we were just like, I don't know how we're going to do this, but let's go. And then, so I worked at both of them. I was over both of them. And then when that happened, there was just so much going on. They decided to sell the little drive-through.
Yeah.
And then now just have the one on Warrior Drive.
They still own it.
Yep.
That was a topic of discussion actually at school this week, because I have a student of mine works there. And I was like, oh, do the Lannings still own that? And he goes, I don't know. And I was like, how do you not know who you work for? He goes, I don't know. I just show up. And I'm like, what? Like,
I mean, you guys know this. I mean, some kids just come.
Great.
They come in, they work. That's it.
Keep
They
your
don't-
head down, don't
that's
talk.
it. They don't know much more than that.
Yeah, I can see that.
right. I mean,
Yeah.
at least they're not confusing you for owning the place, I guess.
I got a
So-
funny quick story. When I worked there, I hired this young lady, and she was an aspiring singer, but was working. And so Mike Lanning is my father-in-law. He owns
Yep.
the Ricks. His name is George Michael Lanning. So on the pay stub, it says George Michael.
Oh,
This
man.
girl was convinced
Yes.
that George Michael owned the barbecue, and she had met Mike, fully knowing that he was not George Michael, but like was convinced that we were tricking her, that she was on some show because she wanted to be a singer. We're like, George Michael's dead. Like, he's not. And she still didn't believe. She didn't believe us.
That's great.
Some
Absolutely
people, I just
hilarious.
am amazed at what you can get the public to believe. So
crazy.
I did not understand this a few weeks ago with the Super Bowl. Are we allowed to say the word Super Bowl now? That's not
Sure.
Whatever. Anyway,
You can say it. I
sure. Anywho, there were people that were upset that we've had more presidents and then we've had Super Bowls No, excuse me, more Super Bowls than we've had presidents, and they were upset about it, saying that we don't care about our country enough because there were more Super Bowls.
Oh my God!
Not understanding that the 4 years plays into it all, and now we're on number 59, and we were only on president 47, and how can that be? And this is awful because we care about football too much, and I'm like. There's people out here, and I'm not trying to put people down, but like any of y'all believe that, like, I'm letting you down gently.
Okay, but I'm going to drop you right now.
Drop them hard.
I ain't going to let none of them down gently. Y'all stupid.
Very stupid.
But me and my
You're
wife,
educating the public. You're a teacher,
yes,
aren't you?
we are. I didn't feel my best Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, and she said something about that. I said, "What'd you say?" She goes, "There's people that think this," and I was like. Like it took me a second to really wrap my head around that exists. So when you tell me that your girl is thinking that George Michael owns the restaurant, they're out there, man. Like that.
It's good stuff. Good
Well,
stories.
look, everybody has their moments, and sometimes it's not that they're stupid. So I'll give them a little grace. Maybe they just had a moment, and they just didn't think about it.
It's that thing when. It's not that I said you were stupid, but when I said spill Mississippi and you asked if I meant the river or the state, that kind of like. That's right. Like it's like.
That's a good one.
Yeah, right. It's like,
I've never heard that.
So anyway,
You want me to spell the river?
I'm probably running off listeners now. I need to stop. So they're like this guy.
No,
I'm
I
like,
think we just had 5 more subscribers. There's at least 3 people that said you got to hear this dude.
Oh man,
That's outstanding.
Well,
all right. Well, let's go back to Jeff.
Play George Michael song.
All right. So, high school football star. What'd you play?
Quarterback.
Quarterback. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Did you get recruited as quarterback?
I did. Yeah,
Okay.
and I got offered a scholarship to play. So I played a handful of games. I tore my knee going into my senior year, so that kind of sucked.
Okay.
But played some of my senior year with a brace, no ACL, and was like, I know this is it. So if I get surgery now, I basically am effectively done because I won't be able to travel and play and do all that. So threw a brace on it, played a handful of games. But I was just so blessed to get that opportunity. Moved here. Like I owe so much to Coach Stock and MTSU for, have my home now, my business, my wife, my kids. Like, so I support them in every facet that I can.
Does he still stay in Murfreesboro?
He doesn't. He's down. He got a position at Florida State.
I knew that.
So yeah.
I didn't know if
they moved down there.
Okay.
So
I was like,
Yeah, I didn't
he
know
lives
it
on
was
the north side of town, and so every now or used to, and so every now and then you'd see him just out and about, just doing Murfreesboro stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if you know who he is, you're like, that's Coach Stock, you kind of want to talk to him, whatever, but you want to let him just live his life. But somebody always, anytime I saw him out and about, somebody always stopped him, always. Yeah. But he was just that guy. Like
he was great. I love him to death.
I know everybody that was at Siegel spoke so highly of his son, and they just loved the family and stuff. So I didn't know if they hung around or if they moved. So
yeah, I know Brent was in the area for a while, but he ended up getting a job with, I can't remember what NFL team.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think the Bengals. I think he's with the Bengals organization.
Nice.
So they're
That's
great.
Good stuff. So you come to MTSU. You're playing ball. When did you meet your wife?
So I actually met her on my visit. So when they fly you out, they wine and dine you, show you the town, all that, and the host.
What's that look like? What are they showing you in Murfreesboro?
Well, so they show you everything on campus, so weight room, all the facilities, all that stuff, and then they give you a host who's a kid who's already on the team. Usually they try to put it from that town because they know everybody and they know the spots. So Shane Blizzard was my host.
Okay, yeah,
one of my good friends, and obviously grew up with Scarlett, knew him, so we all went to a Mexican spot, and they were there. So I met Scarlett on my visit. We were hanging out, and I was 20 at the time. I was a couple months from my birthday. So I went 21. I had not been past Nevada. So I was like, I've seen Deliverance. I've seen all these things about the South. Like, I'm not going to go get pinched in Tennessee. So, I'm slowly sipping my margarita.
That's hilarious.
Next thing I know, Scarlett's like, what are you getting paid? I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, to babysit that drink. So 30 seconds.
Man.
And man, the rest is history. We ended up, hanging out for a while, ended up dating, a few months after that, and then been together ever since.
That's awesome. That's great. She, I told you before the show, I talked with her for a little while at the high school, and she was just top notch. I remember the day that her dad had the heart attack, and she was fearful, and knew that she was expecting y'all's child and stuff. And it's just like, she's going through all the emotions of the whirlwind and everything. And us as coworkers were like, you chill, like you need to. And of course, she's trying to be frantic about everything, but she posted something at one point on a social media, and I commented about you, and I was like, man, your husband is. Like, he is eye candy. She was like, are you serious right now? I was like, heck yeah. Like, he's a good looking guy.
He's a good looking guy.
And you should see when they clean up. Like, they are just, like, they're couple goals. So, I don't mind saying that.
Appreciate that.
One day we'll get there.
This was weird. I took a turn. I didn't.
It's not where I thought you were going with it.
It's not where I thought I was going with it. Like,
I'm not going to say that's where I knew that was planning on
take
going.
us to a break.
Yeah.
That's actually a great time.
Guys, we'll be right back. And we'll talk more about Jeff. What's going on, guys? I'm your man, Charlie Eblin, the owner of Single Tree Barbecue, located right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 2805 Old Fort Parkway. We're open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 until 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 11 to 3. If you want some smoked wings all the way to some Texas-style smoked brisket, y'all come see us. We have some amazing lunch specials during the week and outstanding barbecue right here in the Middle Tennessee area. We can't wait to see you guys. Welcome back to Single Tree Nation, guys. We are going to try and keep this on the straight and narrow from now on out.
Whatever.
And I did not mean that the way that came out in that pun.
There you go. All right.
But
Spell Mississippi. Go ahead.
I can't even say it out loud. You want me to spell the river?
Right.
All right. So you meet your wife, chugging beers. What?
Margarita.
What at that point was that a this is where I'm going to school, I want to be here, I got to see that girl again, or was it I like stock, I like the football team,
Yeah. No,
that kind of.
I think it was a little bit of everything. I love the town. Alameda is it's literally an island off of Oakland, so it's a small town, but you're surrounded by Oakland, San Francisco, Berkeley, like these big cities. So I grew up in kind of a home, smaller town feel in a big city area, and then just really liked Murfreesboro. Obviously, the connection. At the time we didn't after that day, we didn't really get back together until I came to school here, which was a couple months after. But really just fell in love with the campus, the town, the opportunity. I went to a couple other places, and it's funny what coaches tell you and how you perceive it as a recruit. But like Stock offered me, he was honest, and he offered me an opportunity, and I was like, that's all you can offer a kid. Like, in my opinion, if a coach is telling you like, I got something for you, like I find it that hard to believe, because there's so many other factors out there that can happen between now and then. So, I would say Stock, obviously the town, and then the connections and the people that I met while, the 2 or 3 days that I was here. Yeah. Just felt right. It just felt like a great fit. Was nerve-wracking moving across the country, not knowing anybody. Because, been living in Alameda my whole life. All my family's there. We literally didn't have anybody out of California. So it was a big leap of faith, but it was ultimately the right decision, and so glad I made it, because my life's completely changed now.
So that was 2010?
Mm-hmm.
So 2010, pack up your stuff, move to Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Yep.
Where all the rednecks lie, right?
Where the magic happens.
Where all the magic happens. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. So you're playing football at MTSU, going through there. At what point did you go, yeah, I'm not leaving here?
Yeah, I mean, once we, I got done playing and started working for her dad for a little bit, and we just talked about like what's our future.
Were y'all dating
right?
at this point?
Yeah. We were dating.
So you just didn't like walk into Rick's and go, "Can I get a job?"
No.
And
I worked there during like the summers because back then, like you had a little bit of time that you could work. So I'd work there off and on just to make some extra money. And then, when I got done playing, we had been dating for a couple of years and knew it was pretty serious. And she was like, do you want to move back to California? I was like, no. I mean, we're so much further ahead here than we would if we sold your house, moved back west. Like, it's so expensive to live. Like, I love where I'm from. I love California. And it's changed so much over the last 15 years. I couldn't imagine, like, trying to financially make it and raise a family. Like, we knew we wanted kids, like all those factors into it. And I was like, I love Tennessee. So let's stay here and let's continue to build. And so, like I said, worked for her dad for several more years. And she was in the engineering manufacturing world at that time before she got into teaching. Mm-hmm. And then once we got pregnant with Dominic, our oldest, she was like, I think, the schedule would be better as a teacher. So she got into teaching and then, taught at Central Magnet for a couple of years, taught at Oakland. Now she's at MTSU as a professor. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then we decided to open Domenico's.
Awesome. What does she teach at middle?
Mechatronics, so engineering,
What?
like the design. So when people design things for applications, like they do it on the computer. So it's
Okay,
kind of like
okay.
like AutoCAD. I don't know if you know what that
You
is.
threw me for a loop. Yeah.
I don't even really know what it is. Like
I was
sum it
thinking.
up,
I was thinking like the Autobots. Is what
If
you
you
I
can,
was like,
if you can
wait a
take,
minute.
if you can take pneumatics, robotics, engineering, and mechanics, and put all that together, think about how to make the assembly line, how the advanced manufacturing stuff.
Yeah.
They are the people that come in and do the operating systems for that, make sure it flows well, make sure the design is right. But it's heavy in the robotics and math and science.
You got to be really smart for that.
She's super smart. And
I walked into her classroom one time and her whiteboard may as well have been in Greek. Like, I just looked at it, I was like, that doesn't even make sense. She goes, no, these are the principles of X, Y, Z. And cool. Can I borrow that tool? Like, whatever it was I was after.
You got a measuring tape in here somewhere.
Right. So, but it's impressive. So I knew then, I was like, we're not going to be able to keep her long. And then she announced she was going to MTSU, and surprised by that. But she also talked about how much you liked MTSU because y'all are still pretty involved with the campus and the team, right? And stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on the board of the NIL collective over there. So trying to connect student athletes with the advertising opportunities and that sort of thing. And really just, when I graduated, I really, not being from here, I didn't have like a huge network of people. Obviously I had my wife and her network, but as far as opportunities and business and just people to talk to, like I really didn't have that.
Yeah.
So for the Raiders Rising is the name of the collective. And what we're trying to do is, connect these athletes with people in the community, areas that they're studying, and then be able to help them, facilitate advertising opportunities, whether it's on a podcast or doing a commercial for somebody, because whether you like it or not in this day and age, it's NIL is here to stay.
What's your take on that? I know everybody's offering an opinion on that, but as somebody who sees it from I'm trying to help the NIL work.
Yeah.
What's your take on that and how it, in a very broad stroke, is affecting college football or college athletics?
Well, the mistake they made, in my opinion, is I think players deserve the opportunity to get paid. Universities have made literally millions and billions of dollars off of players' name, image, and likeness. And it's a shame that it took so long to get to this point, but they did it at the same time as they opened up this transfer portal.
Right.
So, whereas when I was in school, like I couldn't take a cheeseburger from a guy or else I was threatened that my scholarship would be revoked.
Yeah.
Whereas they said, now you can do whatever you want, and you can also transfer wherever you want without any type of regulations holding you back. So what it's done is it's created like complete free agency where the NFL doesn't even have this like this, because when they sign a contract, there's term limits on it.
Right.
It's a 3-year contract and you have all these stipulations. So there's just this poor leadership at the top is basically what it comes down to. There's supposed to be some regulations that are coming in to sort of help, but I mean, it's literally an ever-changing environment.
Yeah, I think they need to. Honestly, it needs to be like a 50% reduction of all of it.
Yeah.
Like I think there needs to be. I agree with you on the NIL. I think athletes should be able to make money off of their name, image, and likeness for sure. But I also think there should be a cap on that.
Yeah.
I don't think, and I'm gonna get some hate mail for this. I don't think Shedeur Sanders should be riding around in a Bentley when you got kids that are better quarterbacks riding around in a Cutlass.
I mean, I'm with you.
You understand what I'm saying?
100%. 100%.
So now some of that's just real world life.
Yeah.
It really is. So I'll speak out of the other side of my mouth and say, well, then you should be able to work a deal that's better, right?
Sure.
Because if in the real world, if you can't work a good deal, you're not going to get paid.
Yeah.
Right? It's just the way life works. If you can't find somebody to pay you what you want to get paid, well, then you didn't sell yourself the way you should have. But at the same time, opening up the transfer portal completely now allows me to go 100% on entitled side of it and go, oh, well, Coach Derry isn't going to give me what I want. Okay, fine. No big deal. You know, Coach Trent said he was going to double it.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. I mean,
it's just like, what's the quarterback from Georgia?
Carson
Beck.
Beck.
Yeah, Sid. Sid.
Carson Beck, yeah.
Said this.
He got mad and isn't playing for Georgia next year.
Well, rumor has it he saw where he's going to land in the draft. He's like, wait a minute. After he committed to the draft, I better go back in. But Georgia had already moved
Certainly
on.
a smart play on him.
Oh, 100%.
Like, he's gonna
No,
make
I'm not
way
hating
more
on
money.
him.
You know?
He'll make more money in college than he will in the NFL. And you know, even like I was thinking from the Diego Pavia thing of suing the NCAA, saying I still get another year of eligibility because of XYZ. And you've got some of these guys now pushing their late 20s still with eligibility. And I'm like, that boggles my mind. But financially, it makes sense to hang around the college ranks for a little while.
Well, especially if you know you're a type of kid that, like, I'm really probably not going to get a shot in the NFL.
Right.
Like, am I going to, I could stay an extra year or not leave early or whatever the case may be. And I mean, if I could have made $200,000-$300,000 by the time I was done playing,
right.
I mean, that's a lot of, it's a lot of money.
So here's a question. I'm glad you brought that up, because here's a question for you. The kids that are they're not gonna get drafted in first round, right? And they know if they do get drafted at all, second, third, fourth round, whatever, they're gonna have years before they actually make any kind of considerable money.
Yeah.
So the other side of the argument, and I'm making this argument because it was made to me the other day. The kids in college that are playing just aren't that great, but can get the NIL deals to where they make a couple $100,000 a year playing now in college. They can rack up a retirement from that and then put that away and then go get a job and don't have to worry about their health as much.
Right.
So there's a double-sided thing. I think the portal is probably the big portion of all of it.
Portal's tough because you've just allowed people to bounce around wherever they wanted, and it's crazy. Like, and I don't want to spend the whole thing into it, but you have people that are NIL agents where there's no barrier to entry to be an NIL agent, contacting players, shopping players around to other schools, but they're not representing the kid. But once they get a number, they're like, now they're going to call the kid and be like, hey, I spoke with Duke. I can get you $250,000. Sign with me and we'll go.
Hold up. You mean to tell me I can pick up the phone and call Florida State right now and say, hey, I got a quarterback for you. I got a head coach. I got this. I got whatever. And they say, okay, yes, we'll give that person $500,000 to come play for us. And then I can call that kid and
ethically that's not right, but it's but it's happening.
But I can broker a deal with no certifications, no contract on anything.
Legal.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah, but you can.
You're not supposed to. But that's the thing, is it's not regulated. If you're an NFL agent, they take 3%, right? And you have to have that player signed. Whereas, like, this is also new. People that are always going to take advantage of other people if they can, right? So they're doing this, and then, like, this is all verbal conversation. So I don't know if you saw last year where UNLV's quarterback played the first two games,
and then he
left.
Yeah,
that's what happened. He was told by somebody at UNLV that he could get Matthew Sluka $100,000. Matthew Sluka plays. He doesn't see the money, so he leaves. Is it the agent who's not even licensed or anything in the state of Nevada to do that? Like, it's wild, guys. It's absolutely, it goes so deep.
It really is.
And,
insane.
you got these kids, for a lot of them, that come from nothing. And you get a guy calling you, say he can get you $300,000.
That's my
That's
concern.
life-changing money.
Right. And for a kid who grows up with nothing, and now you've got life-changing numbers being thrown at you, but there's not that balance of the other side of here's how you handle that money.
Yeah.
Like you say, you could set up a retirement. You're right. You could also spend it by Tuesday.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? And so, and there's a lot of, that back and forth with these
And
kids.
that's what we're trying to do as well as the collective, is be a resource for these kids at MTSU.
Nice.
Be like, hey, like, number one, you're an independent contractor, so you put some of this money away for taxes at the end of the year.
Right.
Number two, like, that's how do we manage this money smart? You know what I'm saying? If you need to send some money home, because there's kids that are doing that to their mom because they're in a rough situation, do that. That's your money. You should do it. But hey, let's take this large portion. Let's figure out a way to, number one, keep it safe, and two, maybe make you some money somewhere else. So we're just trying to, facilitate those relationships. These are great kids, man. And number one, we want to help them out, and number two, we want to keep them at MTSU if we can.
That's good stuff. man.
How's that affect? We had Coach Mason off a couple months ago. How much is he just, I want to be the coach? And not just him, I should say most coaches.
Yeah.
I just want to coach, let the collective take care of it.
Isn't he on the board of too?
He has
No,
to.
no. So we obviously work very close with all the coaches over at MTSU.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody contacts us and want to do a specific deal with a specific player, or somebody wants to, contribute some money to a specific program, like, we handle all that. And then we see what the coaches' needs are.
Sure.
It's just like an NFL roster now. Quarterback, there's going values for quarterback, offensive line, receiver, defensive players, like all across the roster.
That's wild.
It's what it is, because if not, then somebody else can come in and they can offer them. Like, it's a lot that goes into it. So, like, we obviously talk very close with all the coaches, making sure that we're doing what they need. We are there to help and facilitate this side of it, because before this past year, like, the athletic department couldn't have anything to do with it.
Okay.
There's been some things that's passed. So in July, revenue share starts. So now the athletic department can use money that is generated through them to also help facilitate, payment to the players to help out as well. So
How's Title IX playing all that? Because, you can't just have football be the breadwinner, right? I mean, it's got to go to girls basketball or softball or whatever.
Yep. So the revenue share portion that's with in-house at MTSU and at all universities, they have to abide by Title IX regulations.
Okay.
We are an outside entity.
Okay.
So we do not. So
if I walk up to you and be like, hey, here's $1 million, but this is football only,
you can do that.
I can do that. But if it's generated by the university, it follows the Title IX rules.
Yes, correct.
Well, good for y'all trying to remember all those rules. God.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and it's ever changing, but we just,
I'm confused thinking about it right now.
man, we just, as a former player, like, I just want MTSU to be good in all sports.
Yeah.
And this is part of it, and it's here to stay, at least for the foreseeable future.
Sure,
So if we can be helpful in that area to the university, to the programs, and at the end of the day, like, I want these kids to be successful.
Yeah.
I had coaches and people that have helped me along the way, and I want to return the favor.
Well, especially when you come in, you got to Murfreesboro because of football.
Exactly.
And then it has set you up for a successful life.
Absolutely.
Whether you're talking family, business, giving back to the university, whatever. And so being on that end of it, it makes sense that you want to see those kids be able to have those same offers, that same venture, not that necessarily they're going to stay in Murfreesboro, but that you want to see them set up.
Which is about building a community, right? Like, I wanted to be downtown because A, it reminded me of my hometown, but B, like, downtown is so unique. You have the courts, the county courthouse, the city hall, all the businesses, and people that come and go because they got to pay a ticket or whatever. And like, it's such a unique area. And like, I would just want to see it build and build.
Yeah.
I want people to be proud of they're from Murfreesboro or live in Murfreesboro. Or if they went to MTSU, like, and I bleed blue. I don't bleed any other color.
Right.
I grew up a Cal Bear fan because I went going to those games with my dad and my family. But like, MTSU is my school.
Right.
They've done far more for me. Graduated from there, have all these things than Cal ever did.
Right.
So like, I'll watch Cal on TV, but I'm not going to wear Cal stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear blue stuff.
I think our downtown is one of the most unique. Like
great.
at least in the 50-mile radius, that kind of thing. I like making downtown a day.
Yeah.
Like I know,
yeah.
especially if it's warm weather.
Yeah.
We're gonna start. If let's assume it's Saturday, you're gonna hit the Saturday market.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then of course, there's all sorts of stuff that's just involved with that. Hit 2 or 3 different shops downtown. Lunch somewhere. Probably your guys get the Reuben. Just I don't have. We haven't hardly even mentioned the Deli yet, but
we're this next step. This next step.
But get the Reuben. That's my 2 cents. And then like there's spots for nightlife. You can go down there and kind of just do the thing. It's a great spot, and like you can literally go there just about 24 hours a day, and find a spot that is going to accommodate you one way or another. And I think it's a fantastic spot. So, and y'all spot too, over there by the hardware store. Like for those of y'all that aren't from Murfreesboro, and I don't know if you have, I'm sure you have been in the hardware store. When you step into Holden Hardware, and that wooden floor creaks for the first time, and I went, last time I was in there was in December, and I walked in. And I went to pay for a credit card, and he pulled out that old paper machine. I was like, "This is phenomenal."
great.
My favorite thing about that hardware store is I've never gone in there and not gotten what I needed.
It's incredible.
I have one time and one time only.
But the best part about that is not the fact that they always have what I need. It's really 2 of the best parts. One, they always have 2.
Right.
Right. They never only have 1.
Yeah.
They never have 3. They got 2 of them.
Right.
and that's it.
Right.
So you better not need 3 of them.
You buy one, we're going to replace one. That's
Right.
it.
Raleigh and
But the
Steve are
fact that-
awesome, man.
The fact that you walk in and you say, "Hey man, I need to get some blinker fluid."
Right.
And he will walk down the aisle up to the left and reach up to the top corner
Grab it. That's
and
it.
hand it right to you.
They have
And you can
walls
spend
that
in
like
there-
slide
The
open.
sliding
Yeah,
walls.
and I didn't even
It's
know
hidden.
that they were in there.
That's exactly right.
You can spend hours looking in there
Yes,
and
you
never
can.
find anything, and they just walk right to it. Here you go, man. Merry Christmas.
It's
It's phenomenal. It
Yeah.
is a step back in time, and it is.
When
really
did they
is.
open?
I could long
Do you
time
know
ago.
when that store first opened?
No.
so downtown's the Main Street is it's an organization that I'm on a part of
Yeah.
as well. They're celebrating 40 years, and I know. So Holden's has been there for well over 40.
Yeah.
They've been there
Yeah.
a long time, and
It's got to be one of the oldest businesses in town.
It is.
Between
According to Google, Holden Hardware in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, opened in January of 1948.
1948.
that's impressive.
That's wild.
That was a couple years ago.
Yeah,
couple.
and I know the original. What was the other hardware store? Haynes Hardware. They were around forever, and they
a long
moved a
time,
couple
yeah.
times, but
Yeah.
now they've been bought out by a larger place. But
Yeah.
it's the same thing. But you still had that hometown feel. You walk in, and that's what I love about y'all because y'all have got that brick wall.
Yeah.
So many places try to cover up the old school feel, and
It
you
was
go,
covered up. We
y'all
tore
exposed
the
it.
drywall.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
I love it. So you
It's
go
crazy.
in and you see that brick, and it's like if those could tell a story.
Well, let's dive into your spot. We keep glossing over it, but
The Reuben and the brick wall. That's all I got.
the Reuben and the brick wall. So it's 2019.
Yeah, the end of 2019.
Okay, you've graduated college. You're working at Rick's. You're having a good time. Mike has his health issues. You're getting ready to have another baby. You've decided that you're going to open up a spot. So was it always going to be Domenico's?
Yeah, I mean it's what I've known, and
Because that's
trying
the
to-
family's place
Yeah, so
out west too. right?
Domenico is it's Dominic in Italian. That's my grandfather's name.
Okay,
He's 95 years old, still kicking, and
outstanding.
he owned him and my grandmother Letizia opened the original one. So they were part owners in one from 66 to 79 in my hometown. They retired pretty young and they got bored. So in 72, if I'm let's say 66, 79, no, in 82, they opened Domenico's where it sits today. And then they ran it for a couple of years. My parents took it over when they retired. So Domenico's was like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to pay homage to my grandfather and my
Is that
grandparents.
shop
who-
still open?
Yeah.
Okay.
1407 Webster Street, Alameda, California.
I love it.
There, you go in there,
So
you'll
that's
see
43 years of slinging sandwiches.
Yep.
That's
And
awesome.
you go in there, you'll see Blue Raider. It's funny. People go in there like, why do you have MTSU stuff?
That
in
is
here?
great.
And then my mom
They
goes
beat
into
Miami
the
one
story
year.
and she'll go into the story, and then it's crazy the connections. I've had a handful of people that have been to both locations now,
Awesome.
which
That's
is really
incredible.
cool. And because it's Alameda's an old Navy base, it's not operating anymore.
Okay.
But back in the day, I mean, you used to have sailors that would come in all the time, and they'd go and see my grandparents and eat sandwiches, and occasionally you'll have an old head that'll come in and. Like, there's no way you're connected to the one in Alameda. And if you go towards the bathroom at our spot, there's an old Alameda map that this guy hand drew and painted from way back when, and we have the same one in the Alameda location as one we have in this one.
That is too
There's like
cool.
2 of them that he did.
That is too
So
cool.
That's
people will see
outstanding.
it and they're like, "How?" And then we go into the story how I got here
Right,
and all that stuff.
right.
So it's been a journey.
So is the menu the same?
It's yes, we have a lot of the same elements, but that one being there for over 40 years, I wanted to put some sandwiches together to kind of give people a launching point, because everything back home pretty much is like create your own. Like you walk in and tell them what you want, whereas like that can be pretty intimidating for people. We got a ton of different meats and cheeses and breads and options to choose from. So I was like, I'm gonna create this signature menu that. A lot of people don't want to have to do that. They just
Sure.
want to see, I want that one or that one.
The first time I saw your menu, I was intimidated, and I knew what I wanted. And I was like, "Oh man!" Because when you start reading it, it sounds so good. And then you've got the fresh bread or the whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, but that'd be really good. And you got to stop reading at some point because, I knew what I was going for. I was going to get the Reuben.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
We want to have a ton of different options. That way, like you can literally eat as much as you want and get something different.
Sure.
You can mix and match your own. You can double up on something. But yeah, I kind of have like 20-ish signature sandwiches that are good ones to kind of start from. But I encourage people, like, if you want to get crazy, man, throw something at me. We'll go
Okay.
for it. We'll make it.
All right. We're going to think of something.
Yeah, I will 100% go try it. I love it. I've never had anything except y'all's Reuben. I'll be 100% honest.
I've had 2 or 3 sandwiches. I don't know. I don't remember what they are. I haven't been able to get over there in probably the last year, and it drives me crazy. Every time. So we do sandwiches for dinner a lot.
Yeah.
And I just love a good just a good cold cut sandwich of any kind. I don't
Absolutely.
care what the meat is. It's just long as it's fresh. Make it happen. And so we eat that for dinner quite often. But I would yeah, I might have to figure out how to. Now I'm getting hungry.
Yeah.
I might have to figure out how to get over there. All right, so
What's your favorite?
Man, I got a lot.
You knew that was coming.
I know.
Uh-huh.
I try not to eat, a sandwich every day, just for a bunch of different reasons. But the Laney special is probably one of my personal favorites. It's hot pastrami, provolone, and bacon on a toasted sourdough roll. And our bread is baked fresh every morning by Simply Pure Sweets across the square.
Okay.
Matthew, they do a phenomenal job. It's some of the best bread I've ever had in my life. And they literally bake it. They wheel it over on a cart across the square as long as it's not snowing like today
Yeah.
or raining. And it's still warm when we're cutting it. So it's like, golly, you can smell it. And it's just, that's to me, like, it's what you see first.
Sure.
It's what you taste first.
Sure.
So if you have a bad quality bread, like, you're instantly right off the bat, you're going to knock it down a couple notches.
Right.
So that was always really, really important to me. So we get their bread from there. So the Laney's really good. I like spicy stuff. So the Chicago style Italian beef. It's an Italian beef I make myself, stuff it with garlic, seasonings, bake it or roast it in the au jus that I make myself. So it gets all that fat run off into the au jus. People ask why our au jus is so good. It's because we cook the Italian beef in it.
Yeah. Right.
And it just gets all that garlic
it's
and
extremely
onion.
healthy.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. But that's the thing though, is it's fresh. Like it's not packed with preservatives.
Right.
I bake
Oh, yeah.
myself. The bread's fresh, and then it's got spicy giardiniera peppers on it. We take that toasted roll and dip it in the au jus so it soaks up a lot of that au jus into the bread.
You and Dad ever gone head to head on making sandwiches?
Me and my brother have before. I don't know. We all do it just like a little bit different.
Sure.
It's funny.
Sure.
But man, we just love food. We love serving people, and I think That's you know this. It's when you see people enjoy something that you've created, and it's food is like very personal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It hits homes for a lot of people. A lot of people grew up with their family cooking and eating and together. It's fellowship. So just getting to see that, and then getting to see the people every single day.
Yeah,
that come in. Your regulars. They become like family.
Oh
you hurt with them when they're hurting. Or you laugh together when they're laughing. It's really cool.
I had a gentleman come in yesterday. Amputee, only got one leg. Served, I think he said 4 years in the Army and then retired from the Navy, which was just kind of a weird transition, but it's a whole nother conversation. But him and his son came in. Son spent, I think, 8 years in the Navy. And we were sitting there just kind of joshing it and just jawing back and forth. And, I'm an Army dude, so we had to jab the Navy guy. And anyway, so but at the end of the conversation, I thought I was talking to my uncle. Like, I mean, that's how close it was.
Sure.
And, like seeing him eat the food, and I just started making my own sausage. So we had a new pork jalapeno cheddar sausage yesterday that we just,
sounds delicious.
Whipped up and
threw
it out there, and he was like, "Ooh, this is good." I made a new one. It's a garlic and chives today. Oh, buddy, if you ain't got nothing to do tomorrow, you might want to come see me.
I'll be on that side of town tomorrow.
Yeah, ooh, buddy, I'm telling you,
I may have to just swing in.
That garlic and chives set me off today. It was pretty tasty.
I gotta come check that out.
But it's the same thing. It's that you get that connection, and they're eating your food, and it almost has nothing to do with the food. It's just how you just made somebody feel.
Exactly.
And because it was the food, but man, I love that feeling. It's so wonderful.
It gets so lost, like in this day and age. Everything wants to be so fast and so like Amazon. I want to hit the button. I want it now. Whereas, it's why I like Murfreesboro. It's a small town feel. It's kind of like it's a product of a bygone era almost. So when you go into places, like Singletree or Domenico's, like I want it to come across as that way,
right?
Because
for sure,
I think people are missing that. People want that.
I think 100% they miss it. Because I think
know I do.
that the aspect of just the rat race never stops.
Yeah.
And I want to set it aside. Like I just, we've been trying to do better just at home, trying not to be just so beckoned to our phones.
Yeah.
And I made the comment the other day. I said, some people are even afraid to leave it in the other room. And it kind of just resonated with me like, holy cow. Like, and so when I can step back and go downtown and see the local businesses and, visit you guys or the barbershop up there that I still go see a lot of the guys up there and stuff like that. There's different elements. And you're just like, man, it's nice. I'm away from the stuff, and I'm just in Murfreesboro, right? Like just for a minute, but anyway,
you said barbershop and no phones, and I was thinking about it, and I couldn't tell you the last time I went into a barbershop and there wasn't exterior ring lights around you, and and they're getting their phones out and they're recording all of it, and I'm like, that's not what a barbershop's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Barbershop's supposed to be, like, when I think barbershop, the first thing that comes to mind is Drake's.
Old school Drake's.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I love Jason, and he does an amazing job, and all the people over there are cool, but like, and even still, when you walk into his place now, it still has some of that feel.
Yeah.
It's the old school, like you're gonna talk craziness while you're in there.
Right. No doubt.
Right.
And try to figure it all out. But that's what we miss. That's what's missing in today's society. We get so caught up in those, 6-inch screens that we can't figure out how to, use the restroom without it.
Well, I think that's one thing that's important. Like when you go out to eat at a small shop or go to your barber shop or whatever, I've got to the point, I don't even have my phone where I can touch it. I don't want to know that it's going off. Like, try to set it away and just talk. Just have the conversation with my barber. I told you last time I was in there, your wife was, and I was trying to say hello, but there was no stopping her. I was like,
she's usually got like 15 minutes between classes, so she runs over into you, gets a little chicken in the bowl, and dips out.
I wanted to say hello, and I was like, because the crowd's coming in.
Oh,
his guys are doing their thing, and like you had at the time, at least this is probably about a year ago, super tall, handsome dude, and looked college age. I don't know.
Yeah,
And I was,
probably
this guy was working, and I was like, there's no, like, he's having a day, like, not a bad day. Like, he's enjoying what he's doing.
Yeah.
Work for you guys and stuff. And Scarlett comes swooping in, and I was like, here's my chance to say hello. It's gone. Like, I was like, it's just, so just
You
the life
thought
of a
about
small
it.
business, I'm
Yeah.
sure, but.
I love it.
We need
What
to take
kind
a
of
break?
what kind of mac and beans we got?
Oh, okay. I didn't know if we had to do break time. So,
Yep.
well, I'm going to put you on the spot then. I think I just gave enough hesitation there. Mac and beans is our this or that. So you go to barbecue and you've ordered whatever your protein is. You're going to get macaroni and cheese. You're going to get the baked beans.
Man, I'd probably go baked beans, I think.
Okay. So the other half of that, and I'm going to put you on the spot with your background of what you've owned here or been a part of here in Tennessee. Barbecue or Italian sandwich?
I mean, Italian sandwich.
Okay.
Mike, he means no disrespect.
Yeah, no disrespect at all. But
Maybe a side punch in the kidney, but no disrespect.
love a great brisket is my favorite meat.
Yeah.
Like barbecue smoked
I
meat.
agree.
So,
I agree with that.
I mean,
I agree with that. We're doing a competition style smoked brisket tomorrow. I showed my guy today that's been cooking a lot of the briskets for us how to trim a competition style brisket because it's totally different.
Right.
it's like a science. It's crazy.
He looked at me and he goes, "It's so small."
Right. Yeah, you cut all of it away.
I
Like,
went,
yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
But I can control all of it here. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably about probably 18 inches long. Yeah, it's small.
You got to cut all the fat off of it.
So one of the biggest differences in competition style briskets and cooking in your backyard or even for the restaurant is I'm looking for a thickness of brisket to be even all the way from the front to the back.
I got you.
Because I want that brisket to cook as evenly as possible. And then the more consistent it is from front to back, the less, it's not really burning, but more even of a smoke. It's not going to get too much smoke on one side or the other, and the edges aren't going to get burned up.
Yeah. I'm sure it all goes
So-
into how they judge it, right?
Well, you got to think about it from this standpoint. So if you come into the restaurant and you get a brisket plate, you're going to eat the whole plate, and you're probably going to mix it up with some, beans or whatever, and it's going to be all different. And you don't really pay attention to that one bite. But in competition, they get one bite. That's all they get to take. So that one bite of brisket or ribs or chicken or pork or whatever it is, it has to be the most flavorful bite of barbecue that they've ever had.
And you don't know where they're pulling it from.
And you don't know where they're pulling it from.
I got you.
So in competition barbecue, you're injecting with a whole bunch of different phosphates to make sure it stays juicy enough because, as soon as you slice into a piece of meat, it starts drying out. And then you got to put so much different flavor and try to pack as much flavor into the meat as you can. Most people that like brisket, especially a Texas style brisket that's just salt and pepper and smoke, they're not really going to like competition food because in a Texas style brisket, you're going to taste the meat, right? In a competition style brisket, you're not going to taste meat. It's going to taste, that brisket's going to taste more like roast beef, in au jus than it is, a smoked piece of meat. It's a total different,
I had no idea.
total different thing. Yeah. I'll send you some pictures or come by the restaurant.
Yeah. Come by. You want to try that
It's gonna
garlic
be,
and herb
It's going to be interesting.
sausage.
Saw it, right? Like,
Yeah, that garlic chive is good, man.
I'm going to be within about a mile of your spot tomorrow. I may have
we
to
did all kinds of stuff with it.
detour over.
Yeah, it's pretty tasty. So, all right, so we got the restaurant, been up for 5 years now. This is the first business you've owned, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So, family's been in the business for a while. You've been in it for really your whole life as far as operations go. But opening a business in 2019, beginning of 2020, you had some hurdles to overcome.
Yeah, it was crazy. I honestly didn't know like how it was going to work. But we took off in January, and like it was way, you start a business, like I wanted to hedge my bets. Like this spot's perfect. It's on the square. It's a little small, but like we'll grow into it. And then we open up, and that first week I was like, I need a bigger boat. Like I don't have enough space. Like I literally don't have enough space for storage, for like anything.
Yeah.
And because you always get that like big surge when you open, right? And so we were kicking butt for like a month and a half, and then you start hearing all the COVID stuff. And then luckily in Tennessee we could still operate just to go.
Yep.
Pull the tables apart. We're able to do that. We did a lot of neighborhood deliveries. So we, take bulk orders for neighborhoods and deliver them and drop them off, and just anything to keep sales like coming in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because bills were still coming, still paying
Yeah.
rent. Like they didn't care. And then, you had all the PPP stuff that was great, but all that was based off of 2019 financial data. Well, I wasn't open in 2019, so I didn't get any of that.
Yeah.
So it was like, that was a little bit frustrating where you see these huge corporations getting millions of dollars. And it's like, hey, the little guy, like I've never asked for a handout in my life.
Yeah.
But like, a couple bucks would really go a long
real
way.
long way. Yeah.
But man, just having faith and God took care of us, and we just slowly started building and building a reputation. And I think Scarlett being from this town helped,
Sure.
People understood that we had just opened up and were so gracious to us. And that's why I feel like we owe a lot to this town and the people that live here and the community and MTSU. So we just want to give back every single day that we can, if we're able to. And it's been great since, just slowly climbing, trying to build and looking, hopefully to potentially open a second location in town if it's feasible. So
Okay.
I think that's the next step, because I can't expand in my building.
Yep.
I know I need a bigger spot, but I don't want to leave downtown.
Right.
That's outstanding.
Is that one of those things where you want a second location, but it's going to be all about where it is, so you're patient and sit on it?
Yeah, trying to be patient. Location's everything, right? But I think that we've built a reputation at this point of quality and service that, even if it's not maybe the greatest location, that I hope that would carry us over.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm not trying to rush into anything, just keeping my eyes open on stuff. And I'm not buying or anything. I'll just be leasing. But just kind of looking.
Any particular part of town, just geographic?
No, not really specific. I mean, I think the way that they're kind of, or have built Murfreesboro is like, they're like these little boroughs within the borough.
There's four of them.
And they don't want people to
Say
leave
it all the time.
that area.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, I think in any side of town, whether it's south, north, west, like, I think you could service that pocket of the community and do fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Good deal. You got a Friday feel good for us?
Always got a Friday feel good for us.
Let me hear it.
Yeah, listen, guys. Much to what we were saying earlier, take time to slow down and experience life. Every day has the opportunity to run off, leave you behind, and all of a sudden it's gotten away from you. Make sure you're taking in those small moments, taking the time to see the trees, not just the forest. Y'all know what to do. Find somebody you know. Tell them you love them.
That's outstanding. And I would love to know how many national parks you've been to out of the 63. I've been to one state park. Jeff, look, hey, I appreciate you coming to hang out with us for a little while. Honor and a pleasure to have you on the show. If people are trying to get a hold of you, want to do catering, you do catering?
Yep, we do.
Want just to come have lunch, hours of operation, all the things. How can they come eat lunch with you, get catering, everything there is to know about Domenico's?
Yes, you can find us on our website, domenicosdelitn.com. We're open Monday through Saturday. Monday through Friday, we close at 8 p.m. Saturday, we close at 5, close on Sundays. And then if you're needing any catering questions, just give us a call, 615-624-7474, or shoot us an email on our website. And we do business events, weddings, whatever you need. If we can do it, we'll take care of you.
Y'all heard Derry say it earlier that Reuben is absolutely
So
killer. And then the Laney,
Laney special.
is the owner special. So make sure you go try both of those sandwiches and just pick me up something while you're there. I don't really care what it is. Just bring it to me. All right. Hey, look, guys, again, thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you want to get involved, please feel free to reach out to me at charlie@singletreebbq.com, or you can call me at 615-307-0120. And until next time, guys, we'll see you then.
Y'all be good.
Thanks for joining us today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, leave us a 5-star review and come see us at the restaurant.